Take a look at these four lines here. Which two of them are parallel to each other? Exactly right. These two lines are parallel, meaning they run in the same direction and never intersect. Let's draw in a transversal, meaning a line that crosses the parallel lines. Together, these lines form quite a few angles, these four up here and these four down here. Some of these angles are corresponding, meaning if you move them, they line up perfectly. For example, which angle is corresponding to this red angle over here? If you're not sure, click over here to review corresponding angles. Precisely, this red angle is corresponding to this turquoise angle down here, because you can move it down the transversal so that they perfectly align. So that means these two angles are congruent. That is, they must have the same measure. Next, can you identify which angle forms a vertical pair with the angle down here? To review vertical angles instead, click over here. Exactly right. These two angles are vertical angles, so that means they're also congruent. So this angle is congruent to this one, which is congruent to this one. And that means these two angles must also be congruent to each other. This pair of angles is given a special name. They're called alternate exterior angles. They're called exterior angles because they're outside or exterior to the parallel lines. And they're called alternate angles because they're on different or alternate sides of the transversal and they touch different parallel lines. Now, as a rule, alternate exterior angles are always congruent to each other, meaning they have the same measure. So there's another pair of alternate exterior angles in this diagram. Here's one angle in that pair. Where's the other angle? Now that you've identified some alternate exterior angles, it's time for you to make your own. In this interactive, you can drag these two yellow dots up and down to move the parallel lines, and you can also drag them left and right to move the transversal. The pairs of alternate exterior angles are colored green and blue. Try moving these three lines around to make sure that alternate exterior angles are always congruent to each other. Okay, let's finish this lesson with one more problem. Here are two parallel lines and a transversal. Suppose this angle over here measures 116 degrees. Then using alternate exterior and supplementary angles, try finding the measure of this red angle up here. If you get stuck, click over here and we'll figure this out together. Nicely done. There are a few different ways you could have solved this. One way was to recognize that this angle over here and the blue angle down here are alternate exterior angles, so this green angle also measures 116 degrees. And this green angle is supplementary to the red angle, so the red angle must measure 180 minus 116, or 64 degrees. Now it turns out that exterior angles on the same side of the transversal are always supplementary angles, which is pretty neat. But the big takeaway from this lesson is that alternate exterior angles, like the green and blue angles here, are always congruent to each other.